What's going on, man? William Barry here, coming at you with another video. It's been a while since we've done an actual video. Lately, we've been streaming over here every day, starting around 9:30, going to about 2, seeing how far we can get. Usually, we've been in at around 3 o'clock, but yesterday we went over. Anyway, on the live stream, we're doing a whole bunch of stuff. A few music reacts. You've been seeing the videos upload. Been diving a little into politics a little bit, trying to give a pretty good center view about things. Because, you know, as much as I am left-leaning, I'm not all the way left, you know what I mean? Anyway, and, just talking, hanging out, even a little bit of video games. So if you're ever bored, want nothing going on, want to stop in and see what the fat boy's doing, you can always find me live Monday through Friday, starting typically around 9:30. I don't have a set time because it depends on how quickly I get the dishes. And by the way, if you're a man and your lady makes breakfast, and if you don't do the dishes, maybe you're a bitch ass. Just saying. I mean, unless you have to go to work immediately or something. Obviously, it changes depending on the paradigm. But, bro, do the dishes. Help out your lady. Anyway, we're finally back. As we said before, Saturdays are going to be Ren days. It doesn't matter what's going on. We're always going to get through Ren videos. We do have one copyright strike on the video that finally cleared up, which was the Electric Callboy. I don't know why they hit me, because the first one they didn't do anything. But I think it just depends on the video or the year the video came out. I don't know. We're going to keep doing them. I have a lot of fun. We have a lot of things we got to get through, including Sleep Token, some more of that lady from Australia. You know, various different bands and groups. Now that we are going to be live for about 6 hours a day, typically, Monday through Friday. Saturday is going to be a day to spend time, with the group. Let's get that closed. You guys don't need to see that. From there, we're just going to have a good time, Anyway, for those of you that don't know, I made it all the way up to Canada. I'm here with my girlfriend. We're kind of hanging out, having a good time. Then after that, we're trying to pursue means to, make this a permanent thing. However, we're not here to break any laws or break anyone's hearts or anything like that, so we're going to do this the correct way, to the best of our capabilities. Anyway, for those of you that don't know, my name is William Barry, and I love doing what I do here on Twitch. I'm sorry, Twitch. I don't do Twitch no more. YouTube. And more importantly, we had our first official paycheck. I got my email from YouTube saying that they're sending me 3 months worth of streaming revenue or ad revenue and your guys' actual super chats and stuff like that. So everything's back up and working order. They didn't like my the second. They didn't like that. I tried Junior. I tried 1-1. I tried doing it without. They kept denying my existence as a person. How dare they? Well, anyway, we're back up and running at full speed. We're going to be putting more and more content out. It's a little slow for me because after I do my 6 hours of recording, then I have to try and go in and try to edit the video. Well, I'm not editing right now, I'm just cropping. But soon, once I get a little faster, a little more used to it, and plan out a rhythm, and have the capability to take the time to dedicate some more time to you guys, I'll be back. Right now, I'm a little disappeared in our Discord a little bit, but the move is almost done. Everything's getting back on track, and I think we're going to have a great time. I look forward to doing more and more content with you guys, and just so you guys know, I love you, man. Parasocially, actually. Want to give you cuddles sometimes in a non-gay way, unless you're gay, and then, we can make it a gay way, Try to make you feel good, Just want to make sure the people that are watching are having a good time. Anyway, I think I've rambled enough. It's been 4 minutes, and I've said way too much shit, and I've made people feel very uncomfortable. And you should be. Could you imagine this guy creeping his way up to you, you know what I'm saying? Wrapping his arms around you and saying, you're my... I got nothing. All right, I'm done making an ass of myself. Let's get to it. So obviously we got to switch to the... I think we could just switch back to the reaction screen, right? How does this crop out? No, I don't want to mess with those settings. We'll just keep it on the screen for now. I probably should have fixed all this before we started. Anyway, here we are getting to Chapter 8, Ren.
I was sat in a cafe across from a strange...
Is this... Okay, well, it's this chapter. Anyway, I was going to say, don't forget to drink your water, boys. It is now my new mission to make other fat people healthy. So if you are morbidly obese, I know it sucks. I know it's terrible. Trust me, I do not enjoy it myself. But get that water game going. And okay, this chapter is apparently a song? Like, what the fuck is this? Okay, Ren Daddy, what you got?
I was sat in a cafe across from a strange French man in a suit. I had to decide over a 5-minute drink if this was the man that...
Oh, hey, man. What's going on, Romaine? I've heard you sing and play guitar, baby. Look at this gorgeous man, dude. He's got the drip. He's got the drip! Sorry, the window's open. I gotta be careful. People might be sleeping.
From a strange French man in a suit. I had to decide over a 5-minute drink if this was the man that I was going to live with for the next year of my life. A week before, I'd been sat in the same cafe with a Polish man. My friend Luke had put me in touch. Me and my girlfriend had decided to move into separate houses in hopes it would fix our crumbling relationship. The guy seemed pretty chill online, and so I'd already agreed to move in with him. This was just a little informal meet before we did. A few minutes in, I instantly regretted everything.
Oh no.
He told me a story of how the week before he'd come home drunk, and he'd pissed all over his own living room, and was in hysterics about it. I laughed nervously, taking a sip.
I mean, come on, bro. Sometimes you gotta live a little, bro. Sometimes you gotta, I've been to a few rages in my day, bro. Will Barry used to get crazy when he wasn't, the definition of obese, baby. Dude, I used to be the life of a party sometimes, man. Just, you couldn't make it about me. If you made things about me, I'd get like, I'd be running away. But if it was about other people, I'd be the loudest man in the room. I'm a hype man, dog. I'll be in your corner.
Sip of water as I imagined a future of watching Netflix shows near a carpet that stank of piss.
Great.
He then went on to tell me a story of how this girl that he'd liked had rejected his advances. So he'd, in his own words, grabbed her by the pussy and she slapped him. He wasn't sure if it was going to work.
I mean, that's technically sexual assault. And also, that's taking a page directly from our boy, Donald J. Trump. Grab him by the pussy. I mean, but also, I will say this. And if you are a lady or a feminist or something, I apologize if this offends you. When I was playing League of Legends after, a little bit towards the end of Trump's presidency, and at the end, anytime someone tried to surrender in a game of League of Legends, I used to tell them straight up, if I have to, I will grab you by the pussy. I said that wrong. By the pussy. And take you to a goddamn victory, whether you want it or not. I got reported a few times. But I thought it was a funny joke. So maybe I'm a monster. I accept that. If you want to fillet me alive, slash me up, cut me up, I understand. I deserve it. But I still stand by that. And you know how many games I won by making those fuckers laugh? Instead of crying and bitching about how their laning phase went? It was glorious. I hate seeing people that just fall apart under the smallest amount of pressure. Like, man, we're all playing a video game. We all sign up playing this game together. When you log into a game of League of Legends, you are signing away 20 to 45 minutes to an hour of your life. And no matter what you do, once you get in that rift, you gotta fucking finish the game. And I ain't doing no pussy shit where we just surrender because things are getting hard. Nah, fuck that. Especially if you play a late game champion. If you play a late game champion and then get your ass beat in lane, bro, it's intended to. You have a way better end game. But being a bitch, let's finish this out. Grab your balls. You gotta remind yourself that you're a man. If you're not a man, become a man. That's all I'm saying. Come on, feminists, let's do this. Let's replace men. There is no patriarchy anymore. What we're gonna do, alright? If a man is in the way, we're gonna push him aside. That's how we're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Alright, anyway. I don't know why I'm rambling. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But let's just get back into the video. I'm sorry, man. I shouldn't be talking about League of Legends shit over your important information.
He'd, in his own words, grabbed her by the pussy and she slapped him. He wasn't sure if it was going to work out between them. I was certain it wasn't going to work out between them. I didn't laugh this time. I made an excuse and I left. When I got home, I messaged him, making up a lie that me and my girlfriend had patched things up and she'd be moving with me instead. I had a week to find a new roommate. I was, for all in...
I feel like I've heard this before. Has he said this somewhere else? I'm having deja vu, bro. I swear to God I've heard him say that before.
Me instead. I had a week to find a new roommate. I was, for all intents and purposes, a loud little bugger. I'd often spend unhealthy amounts of time making beats, so the person that I moved in with needed to be able to tolerate noise. I found this Facebook group called Brighton Bands of Musicians and I posted on it. It went something like this. Hi, I'm a noisy person and I'm looking for another noisy person to live with. Enter the Frenchman. He'd moved from France in hopes of kick-starting his music career. He was working in the restaurant and busking on the streets whenever he had time. He was, for the better part of the word, eccentric, and at first I couldn't quite place him. The bar was set extremely low by the carpet-pissing sex offender though, so the Frenchman could have probably told me he was part of an extreme terrorist organisation and I'd probably said, "Great mate, when can you move in?" The house was only meant for two, but in true cheapskate style we found a third housemate called Tom, who was probably one of the funniest people I've ever met.
Let's go.
Tom would go on hour-long rants about how Nicolas Cage is the world's best actor.
I said, put the bunny back in the box.
I want to say, dude, Tom seems to be a man of high class. That's top drawer. Nick Cage is one damn fine actor. One of my favorites. Now, he's got some movies where he plays some ridiculous characters, but he is, by all definitions, a true thespian. Okay, just putting that out there.
And he makes a compelling case too. That Frenchman was Romain Caesar. We'd go on to form a band called The Big Push, and he'd become one of my closest friends. The second week we moved in together, it was his birthday, so me and Tom decided to gaffer tape about 50 baguettes and bunches of garlics to the walls and ceilings to decorate. It was 2016 and political correctness hadn't come into full effect.
I hated political correctness, man. But I think your timeline is skewed there, buddy. Political correctness was already raging by 2009. We saw the overcorrection in comic books, video games, atheism. I guess I don't need to go into a long history of Gamergate, Atheism Plus, the SJW movement, or SJW movement was around 2016 time era, or less, slightly before. I hate to say it, I've been in this culture war shit forever. You guys would probably not like the sides I was on. But I will say, I can rationally defend every decision I made, for better or worse. I never did anything crazy, and I called out a lot of extreme shit, but I still think Atheism Plus was dangerous. And Gamergate is literally the founding of the MAGA movement that would later become MAGA. It's a bummer to see the things that you're a part of morph and twist into some monstrous form. And in some small way, those of us that were on Gamergate lost. Video games went to shit. Started getting ugly Play-Doh looking characters. We started overfilling our movies and cinema with bad writing, not necessarily like divisive politics. Like movies from Hollywood have always been left-leaning. They've always preached beautiful sentiments that we can all stand behind, such as equality, such as acceptance, except as diversity. All of these things are beautiful sentiments that you should never stand against. And I never did. I stood against bad writing. I don't need you to preach to me directly in a film. Your film is about a guy in an Iron Man suit. Maybe it should be about a guy in an Iron Man suit. Maybe they can have underlying currents of feminism, of equality, of diversity. I don't have to put it right on the nose. But then again, most Americans are so fucking brain rotted that maybe they need it shoved in their face because they can't read behind the messages. They don't understand how to decipher rhetoric. They don't understand, themes at all. I feel like when you cater to an American audience, you have to dilute whatever you're putting out there to a degree that it's almost unpalatable. I hate to speak so poorly of my brothers and sisters and where my actual family is born and from, and but just tune into any political stream right now and you'll realize that they're full of shit. But political correctness was at an all-time high long before that, at least in the Americas, because the left got into power in 2008. They tried to start solidifying that power during President Obama's time in office. And we saw a lot of companies go far left. We saw a lot of companies push a lot of far left agendas. We saw an overcorrection with HR shit, and for good reason. People were doing terrible things in these offices. Women were poorly treated. There needed to be some kind of reformation. I just think that they might have gone slightly too far. Like, we always overcorrect in a way that's too far, and then we have to overcorrect again. And then eventually, hopefully, we'll land somewhere towards more of the center. But, who knows, man? The American thought experiment may be coming to an end as we speak.
He still didn't think it was very funny. My energy was only improving during this time, although progress was slow. The doctor had recommended I do a second transplant to speed things up. I returned to LA for the second time with my close friend Saran and went through the motions again. Eventually, I'd switched to their sister clinic in Frankfurt, where I entered one of the more unusual periods of my life. The UK has border regulations on certain medications and supplements. Some I shouldn't have been taking back with me. I remember...
Really good movie, by the way. Low. I recommend people watch it.
Regulations on certain medications and supplements. Some I shouldn't have been taking back with me. I remember fashioning a hidden compartment in my suitcase where I would smuggle IV bags full of various nutrients and immune modulating drugs over the border. I did this a few times. One drug, Filgrastim, was often given to AIDS or cancer patients with low neutrophil counts. On my tests, my neutrophils were always outside of range on the lower side, so the injections would theoretically raise them. The issue was I was still broke. I don't think the doctor realised how broke. I was meant to pay for private nurse to administer the drips, but I couldn't afford it. So without telling the doctor, I taught myself how to administer an IV watching YouTube tutorial videos.
God damn, bro. I'm gonna say something that I might lose you guys on. And I'm sorry if I do. I don't want to give this guy any positivity because I know he's an absolute subhuman piece of shit. And I believe he's been found guilty of trafficking young girls. But one time, I heard Andrew Tate and his brother Andrew Tate. Wait, Andrew Tate and what's his brother's name? I don't fucking remember. Tristan. Always like Tristan a little more than Andrew. One time I heard this guy say something that resonated a lot with me. Like, even bad, shitty people can say things that make you feel smart. Or not smart. You understand what they mean. You should never vilify a person so much that you can't hear good advice when you hear it. No matter how disgusting it is. Andrew Tate one time, I believe, said something along the lines that people take themselves for granted in so many different ways. The reason why he spoke to young men was because he told young men that they could be better. They should be better. And when he talked about those messages, I really resonated with that because I thought it would be an important message to give to the newer generation. The problem is... Excuse me, sorry about that. The problem is he packaged that with so much disgusting bullshit that no matter what he said, no matter how it went down, it was hard to take him seriously. The idea, though, is that if you had 3 good soldiers in your corner that you truly trusted, come on, man, you could conquer the world. You would be surprised how powerful you are when you apply yourself, even if you don't know anything. You can become an expert very quickly if you truly dedicate yourself to a thing. Ren being able to watch YouTube videos and then mirroring that in real time, doing what doctors were doing, is impressive. One thing that should be said, though, because it's very dangerous. Be careful doing anything similar. But if you really want to figure out how to do something, nothing can really stop you. You have the capabilities, every single one of us. People are capable of wonderful things, along with terrible things. But if you have the proper motivation, the drive and desire, and the greed to be the best version of yourself, you can move mountains. Like, dude, I'm 2,000 miles from home. And a 30-year-old van that rattles with every bump in the road. With a transmission I rebuilt with one of my techs. With batteries and sunroofs and like we did the van. And now that I'm saying that, I gotta remember I gotta pull all those videos off my phone so I can put the video of my journey up here. It's still only gonna be like 30 minutes, but you know, bro, you are capable of so many things that you don't even know. It was people that put a man on the moon. It was people that built the internet. Like, maybe it's one person, maybe it's 30. Got a picture of Elon right there that I was thinking about trying to Hitler stash on. Putting it behind me back on the wall now that he's no longer my hero. Another guy lost to the cause. Anyway, even that sack of shit with his team of people are putting chips in people's brains to restore people that have MS. Restoring brain functionality in those that can't talk. Humans are capable of wonderful things. You just have to constantly apply yourself. And it's okay when you don't feel like you can accomplish it. Many people feel wrong. Many people feel sadness when they don't reach their goals, you know? As long as you get up and try again, it's never a loss. No matter what anyone tells you in this world, no matter what you feel about yourself, you're valuable. And I may not know you, I may never talk to you in person, and you might be a stranger that found this video. You are valuable. Even if we disagree on politics, religion, every other aspect of life, you have something to bring to this world, and that's why you're here. I believe that. Much more now than I used to. Really. Anyway, enough of the soy boy stuff. I apologize for getting my feels.
Doctor, I taught myself how to administer an IV watching YouTube tutorial videos. First, it was very messy. I messed up a lot of veins trying to get the catheter to stay in. There was a lot of blood, but eventually I got the hang of it. I'd be sitting in the living room watching One Punch...
Oh man, One Punch Man is such a good show. A lot of people didn't like the second season. I will say, the second season, there's a conversation between King and Saitama. I think it's the last episode or the episode before the last episode, where King, the guy who's, you know, I don't want to spoil anything for those that haven't watched it, he probably said some of the most thought-provoking, powerful things I've ever heard in my life. And I want more of that all the time. Like, let me see if I can summarize. So let's say, you know what? I'll use an example so I don't spoil anything from the show for those that don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Okay, look, I'm about to give you a reference. Do not use this as homework. Do not go look this guy up. I'm just going to tell you about him, and we can move on. There's a nut guy named Tyler 1 who plays League of Legends. He was known at one point as the most toxic player in all of League of Legends. He used to run it down mid. He would ruin games for people. He was banned on League of Legends in a unique way. Tyler 1, though, was persistent. And when he wasn't being an asshole or subhuman shit, he was funny. He was charming. Now, if you go through my old videos, you will see me talking shit about Tyler 1. Because I don't like people that don't value other people's time. When I log into a game of League of Legends that can take up to an hour of my day, the last thing I want is some asshole to ruin that time. But he was funny. He was charismatic. And he kept trying to dodge his bans by getting alt accounts. He would hand level accounts to level 30. It could take up to 20 days. Like, the man was dedicated to League of Legends. He clearly loved the League of Legends. He finally came around and was unbanned because how just popular he was. The first day he streamed, he broke Twitch's world record, I believe, at that point, for the most watched person on Twitch. He was a fucking powerhouse. A goddamn juggernaut. He was a damn good ADC player. But a lot of people gave him a hard time for being an ADC player. So a lot of top laners, people that believe that they're better than other players because they're stuck in constant 1v1s, thought that they could talk shit to Tyler 1 because he was babysit with a support all game. And he had a fragile ego. Tyler 1 did a challenge to get to Tom Challenger in top lane. He did it very quickly and astonished every other top lane player around. And then he single-handedly created try a new role to fill. The reason why I say all of these things is because Saitama in One Punch Man is so powerful he can defeat anyone in one punch. Like, oh, okay. So because he did that, he got bored with life. There was no more challenge, no more drama. If you're at a point where you're so good at a thing, mix it up. Learn something new. Never take the pursuit of wanting to grow from your life. They say often, actually all the time, that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Being the best doesn't mean anything. It's how you become the best that gets you there. So Tyler 1 hit Challenger, I believe, in every single role in League of Legends. He effectively mastered the game. I don't know if he hit number 1, but I know he hit Challenger, which is like the top 1% of 1% of 1%. I think there's only 750 people in Challenger. It used to be 500, and then at one point, I think, wasn't it 250? I don't remember. But it's been impressive. Sorry, shouldn't have been talking about One Punch Man. Love the show. Just saying. Second season, despite the action not being as good, legendary.
There was a lot of blood, but eventually I got the hang of it. I'd be sitting in the living room watching One Punch Man while an IV bag dripped slowly into my veins, and day by day I got stronger and stronger. The issue was I started noticing my food intolerances getting worse. The stem cells had improved my pain, energy, clarity of thought, but it worsened my ability to tolerate food, something I later learned was caused by MCAS, or mast cell activation syndrome. Some other stories also started circulating online groups of people getting far worse after the stem cell transplant. I can't say that this didn't shake me. As more time elapsed, I learned of legal cases that were opened against the clinic for malpractice. The clinic in Beverly Hills eventually shut its doors. It was hard to know how to feel about this. The doctor had been my saving grace. He'd pulled me out of a half existence, but I could see where people's frustrations were coming from. As the clinic grew in popularity,
People are so very, very unique that what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another. Even if all the parameters, symptoms, and everything line up, our bodies do whatever the fuck it wants. This is why I tell people all the time in these videos that we are not as in control as we think we are. We don't really get to make that decision. Sometimes it's made for us by our body. We are just another vessel inside the frame.
I think its resources became stretched and its communication became worse. Nonetheless, that man will always remain the third angel in my tale, and I'll always be grateful.
That's good. I love it. Even if someone hurt someone else, you gotta remember what they've done for you. That's why I can understand why a parent would defend their kid when they're in the wrong. It's why you can see someone defending their wife when they're in the wrong. Sometimes right and wrong aren't everything. Sometimes it's a combination of many things. Which is a person who tries to aggressively pursue truth has a hard time saying. Now, that being said, I will ridicule the fuck out of a homie or a loved one that does something wrong, but I won't let someone else do it. That's my job. I'm the one close to them. Fuck off. You got a problem with them, you got a problem with me. I'll help them through their bullshit. You can fuck off.
It's hard for me to definitively recommend stem cells. I believe it's a gamble. Some got worse, but they did actually really help me. They didn't cure me, and some of my symptoms got worse, but they allowed me to be an active member of society again. And that was huge for me. A few more months passed. My girlfriend had moved to Australia, but she was being very distant with me and rarely answering calls. She broke up with me on Christmas Day while I was visiting my mum. I took it very badly, but it was also symbolically the end of one chapter and the start of the next. Despite our difficulties, I'm still grateful for the time we shared. There's always two sides to every story, and I don't imagine it was easy being with someone who was tormented by my health problems as I was during the time. I returned back to Brighton, and then I started living. For the first time in years, really living. Me, Romain and Tom would throw parties nearly every night. I didn't drink or do drugs, but I was high on being able to participate. I felt like I was living in Brighton for the first time in my life. I was able to walk around, to take in the city, to live.
No wonder why he fell in love with the city. That's where he where he finally came out of his shell. That's beautiful. I mean, it's okay if you do drugs, dude. Ain't no one gonna give you a hard time. Pop a few shrooms, man. Smoke a few bowls. Just, hopefully if you're gonna do heavier drugs, do them safely. Or not at all. But if you're going to, I don't think I could ever fuck with ecstasy. But man, people look like they sure as fuck have fun on them.
I also started getting the attention of women. During my teen years, I wasn't the best looking and I was a bit awkward. During my early 20s, I was so sick I rarely went out. So this was new for me, and I threw myself in head first. I realised that I really like pretty girls, and pretty girls apparently like boys who make music.
Yeah.
A lot of nights I'd go out by myself around Brighton and end up meeting a whole bunch of beautiful women. One night I ended up breaking into the Hilton Hotel with a girl that I just met. We managed to get onto the roof, but we were chased down the flights of stairs by security. We ended up having sex on the beach at 2 a.m. while the tide came in.
Congratulations. Glad those good looks are being used. Now, if I could borrow them for a little bit, or if you could just take like 20 of my pounds and make me feel way better. You know what I mean? Like, if you ever get to a point where you haven't seen your dick in a few years, things get a little depressing.
The parties we throw would get crazier and crazier. There'd be times where everyone was half naked by the end of the night. I found myself in strange situations where I was having sex on a living room sofa with 2 girls while some random dude sat smoking a joint on a nearby table.
Dude was having a good time. I don't know. If I had to pick between a beautiful 2 ladies or a nice fat fucking sticky joint, I think that joint's gonna win, homie. But so does pudding, so like maybe my opinion is pretty small in this regard. So do cupcakes, by the way. Cupcakes? I'll take a cupcake over a threesome any day of the week. Actually, there's a lot of things I'd take over. Like pizza, cheeseburgers, a nice Red Bull, a warm place to crap, and really, really comfy shoes. Okay, maybe threesomes aren't really high on my docket.
I noticed this guy who was a friend of Romain's who kept passing out on our sofa. One time he woke up covered in scratches from this Mexican girl who had been telling the stories the night before of all the people she'd stabbed.
Yeah, homie picked the right girl. Look, I'm not going to say much. Mainly because, much disrespectful. What I will say is I learned really early on never to fuck with Mexican ladies. They're beautiful. They're the greatest senoritas on earth. But I swear to God, dude, when they get mad, they aim for the shins. I don't know what. They just give you little kicks, man. They're the most dangerous things on earth. Holy Jesus. Like tactical nukes. They're crazy. And you also get to hear the word poppy, which that one's poppy. I don't know. I can't do it. Man, the Mexican girls can be a little wild.
Covered in scratches from this Mexican girl who had been telling us stories the night before of all the people she'd stabbed. This guy was Goran Kendall. He sang like Bob Dylan, and he looked like he'd fallen out of a punk rock band. I liked him. Me, Romain and Goran were all musicians, and naturally we started jamming together. I remember the first time...
Alright, I remember that guy. He was the shirtless one in my very first big... the busking video.
Something clicked. We were at Goran's house with an Australian girl I'd been seeing and her friends. The night before, she'd gotten drunk and tried to strip me naked during an open mic night at the Fiddler's Elbow. I was pretty willing, and we both ended up in our underwear being kicked out in fits of laughter. We decided to start working out 3-part harmonies together. We figured out a cover of Octopus's Garden by the Beatles. And not to blow our own horns, but it sounded fucking brilliant. I remember someone walking past the house and hearing from outside, and they started to clap. Eventually the three of us would busk on the streets together. We all busked separately, so it made sense. Back then, I'd occasionally drag a kick and a snare drum out with me in a wheelbarrow, and I'd drum while Goran and Romain played and sang. We would always have people come up to us and they'd ask for our band name, and we never had an answer. We came up with this genius idea of forming a band.
Genius.
One of us said that we should be called the Three Hats because there was 3 of us and sometimes we wore hats. One of us said, nah, that's shit. Eventually we settled on the Big Push, and we got tighter and tighter. As my energy increased, I was able to do more and more. We play about 5 nights a week in various pubs and bars in Brighton for shit money. On Saturday we'd get out onto the streets and go busking. There was just one problem. I was proper shit at drumming. The universe eventually provided us with a handsome bearded Irishman, and everything fell into place. I loved those boys. We were in truest sense a rock and roll band. We got banned from playing at a few venues because we'd occasionally get carried away and break a bit too many things on stage. I got a lot of bills for microphone stands or charges for paint jobs where I'd sprawled the...
The irony is, I bet you these are his favorite moments to look back on. All the money, the fame, even the fans. As much as he loves you guys and us, you know what I mean? I bet you these are the highlight moments of his life. You know what I mean? He had the time of his life. You can see it in their smiles. That's the reason why when they're together, it's infectious. Love it, man. Seeing that kind of love, that genuine compassion. Good. It warms the soul. Gives you something worth working towards.
Big push over the walls in permanent marker pen. Life was a bit like a movie. My ambition at the time wasn't to be in the greatest band of all time or to have any kind of success. I was just so relieved to be alive and play. So every day felt like a victory.
Yeah. You know, I don't want to steal it from Ren's thunder here. This is Ren's moment, and we should enjoy it as Ren's moment. But that's the same thing I felt. Still, every day I upload a video with you guys. I know it's corny, I know it's bullshit. I know I'm not making a lot of money. I just got my first paycheck that was 3 months combined, or 2.5 months combined. It was only $300. Doesn't matter. It's a strange feeling when you've been necessarily a failure for so long. Finally start to make even a few dollars for these videos, the bullshit that we get to do back and forth. It's different. It's freeing. It feels like a victory. Like all of those days where I'd stream to one person, my best friend who's in the game with me. And maybe my league son would come around. I would invite some people after a match. They'd stick around maybe for a day. And they'd never come back around later. But making videos that I'd spend a month making. I'm mastering the Rift, a Rise episode where I played a character in League of Legends from level 0 to level 7. I'd give you my insights, thoughts, weaknesses, strengths, builds, montages. I'd show me dying a lot. I'd show my failures. It'd be multiple games. I'd break down a match, and it would get 30 views. A month of work for 30 views. I was proud of every one of them. But man, did it make me feel invisible to the world. And then you guys just stumbled upon my bullshit. And you guys tell me such nice things in the comments. At first, it just felt like you guys were just being kind. But now I got people that show up when I stream, almost every stream. And they run their mouth with me and they bullshit, we talk. We even got our first $9.99 in a type of transaction. I don't know what that, it might be pounds, I don't know. While doing political content. Never thought anyone would care about my opinions. One thing to care about my opinions about music, but my opinions about life, about the way that we interpret information, it's different. You guys have been a constant reminder of what victory feels like. Something I used to understand when I was younger. Before everything kind of turned into L's. And my life right now is a living dream. And now, for the first time in my life, I have to find the time to make content. I don't know. I don't know what to say, guys. The words don't exist.
So every day felt like a victory. Despite this, I was still carrying a lot of symptoms with me. The pain in my legs never stopped. The buzzing in my feet never relented. My vision was still blurry. I'd still get days where I was so foggy that it was hard to communicate. One day after a gig with the Big Push, being overstimulated triggered a very temporary jolt back into psychosis. And I found myself lying on a table in the pub, repeating the same sentence over and over again for about 10 minutes, while surrounded by a very concerned group of onlookers. I came to, in tears, and I quickly left in embarrassment. If I didn't stick to my diet of about 5 different things, I'd be trapped in bed again. But it was okay. I was willing to hurt if it meant I could participate in life again. And I intended to live the fuck out of it. I met this beautiful Spanish girl one night after playing at a local pub, and I fell instantly in love. She had this beautiful blonde curly hair and was wearing dungarees, and I was enamoured with her from the first moment that I saw her, and she didn't make it easy, which made me like her even more. I'd write her poetry, invite her to shows and attempt to be funny. She knew me as the local slut, which didn't really make things very easy. But with time, she could see that I genuinely cared about her, and I did, a lot. One time we snuck into a cinema together, and I proceeded to climb onto what I thought was the stage below the screen to put on a show for her as she sat alone in the aisles cheering. What I didn't know was that stage wasn't a stage, it was a 6-foot drop. I confidently put my feet on thin air, and then I fell, smashing my face onto the corner of a railing on the way down, seeing a flash of white light and regaining consciousness with her rolling around in fits of laughter on the floor. She was intelligent, creative, unusual and beautiful.
Nice.
I carried a lot of trauma with me into that relationship. Relationships generally didn't feel safe for me. She was briefly diagnosed with BPD, which later turned out to be a misdiagnosis, and I had major trust issues from my last relationship.
Look, I'm not gonna be that guy. You need to be sure that you really like a person. They got BD, whatever that shit is. The mood swings can get wild, but if you love them, it's all part of the flavor.
Which had grown into commitment issues. It was a bit of a recipe for disaster, but we loved each other very intensely and very dysfunctionally until we couldn't. I wish I'd been able to surrender. It was a bit Sid and Nancy, very dramatic to say the least, and I won't get into it for her sake. But it was beautiful, and I loved her very much.
Yeah, them girls with BDP or whatever the fuck, man, when things go south, my guy, they go south. They're beautiful, beautiful angels, but my God, when they go south, they go south. I love them though. They're crazy. They're crazy in all the best ways. Also, dynamite lovers, let's be real.
It taught me a lot. I learned that the echoes of the past had shaped me into something that I struggled to be. I am.
Oh, that was a beautiful line. Hold on. So I say this all the time. A moment echoes long past its date. And this motherfucker said the same thing, but in a more elegant way. Alright, man, look, I'm gonna hand over Element to you. You got this. You finish the book. I can't. You got this, bro. You're a better. Bruh. Let's listen again. I like that.
And I loved her very much. It taught me a lot. I learned that the echoes of the past had shaped me into something that I struggled to be. I envied the people who could jump into relationships and feel safe or content. I wondered if it was because I had to watch my mum and dad fighting till their marriage crumbled when I was a kid. If it was because I'd learned as a child that I had to be independent because external love was inconsistent.
Again, if you ask Jordan Peterson, man, the funeral of your father doesn't have to be an actual funeral. It could just be that they're leaving. Either way, when the man leaves the house, if you're the son, it's time for you to step the fuck up and help your mom. A rough one.
I wondered if it was because I'd been too late to save Joe. I wondered if it was because I was forced to live most of my adult life in isolation. I wondered if it was to do with my past relationships. I didn't know, but I felt confused and I felt angry with myself. I knew I wanted to surrender to love, to feel truly worthy of it, but every time I tried I feel discontent and unsettled, like the security of love was something I wanted to escape. The thought...
I used to fucking bash love, man. Here I am in the throes of the places we end up are strange. Sometimes you just gotta enjoy the ride.
Discontent and unsettled, like the security of love was something I wanted to escape. The thought of ending up in a white picket fence house with my perfect family felt like prison. After 8 long years of being tethered to a body in pain, I wanted to be liberated from any sort of attachment. Any sort of predictability of the future after a life of torturous monotony made my stomach feel like I'd swallowed cinder blocks.
Ooh, that's a good analogy.
When I felt someone's love, I had to fight the urge to run and keep moving, but paradoxically still desperately wanted to be loved. And I loved...
I love the way Ren uses like these are like big words. They're like not the biggest words, you know what I mean? Like this isn't like the last what is it? Matrix was it Matrix 2 or Matrix 3? I don't remember which one it was. It was either Revelations or Reloaded. I can't remember. But we're talking about that old fuck. I think it was the second one. With the white pale dudes with the dreadlocks. The Architect. I think it's funny that so many people like go back and be like, oh man, it's like hard to watch. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? I can understand it. And I'm a dipshit. What do you mean? He's using such big words. I'm like, dog, he used words like inevitable. That's... What? It's not even that hard. There were game companies named Inevitable. Like, what are we doing? But the word paradoxical, that's such a fun word, man. I need to find ways to interject that into the things that I say. I fucking love it.
Fight the urge to run and keep moving, but paradoxically still desperately wanted to be loved. And I loved to love. And I loved her. That discontent was something that stuck with me, and it hasn't made relationships easy. Around 2018, I'd reconnect with Sam. He was in his 20s now, so I felt far less weird about hanging out with a teenage boy.
Yeah.
During this time, we wrote a few songs together. Blind Eyed, What Went Wrong, and Same Old Situation. All bangers, by the way. It was April, and we were shooting a video for What Went Wrong. We were using my friend Josh's car, and there was a scene where we needed a smashed up bonnet. But it went outside of the budget we had to pay for the video, so me and Sam decided to go busking to raise the money. I promise what follows is the truth. We never rehearsed Blind Eyed live before, but while we were out on the street, I turned to him and I asked if we should play it. I started playing the first chord that made sense without even thinking. It started in B minor in this kind of reggae way that was totally different to the original recording. Somehow, it was totally fucking magic. The whole street stopped. Sam was hitting notes and runs that seemed outside of the reach of a mere mortal. Luckily...
I agree, man. Sam is probably one of the most talented vocal performers on earth. I gotta give it to him. I posed the question in one of the Chinchilla videos. that if you had to put a gun to my head and pick one of the better singers, I think that it's going to be Sam. I think that Sam's dynamic capability to hit such fucking amazing runs and the way that he can just use his voice, I think is unmatched by anybody. Chinchilla's a pretty close second. Like, I like the way Ren sings. This is the way that I look at it, okay? And maybe this is just because I'm a nerd and, like, the way my mind works. I don't know. I feel like Ren is a multi-talented artist that can play various different styles, genres, music, and instruments. And he can, like, flex himself in so many different ways. Granted, I don't know a lot about Chinchilla. Ren is like one of the artists I know the most about ever. Like, I usually don't dive into the personal lives of the artists that I listen to because I don't give a fuck about their story. I like their music because how it impacts my life. Typically, I don't give a shit about the character on the screen. I care about what they're putting into the music that they make. So, like, when John Mayer, I don't know anything about his life. I don't know why he wrote what songs he wrote. I don't know why he cheated on Katy Perry. I only know that because TMZ put it everywhere. I don't know these things, and I don't give a fuck, and I never will. Now, Ren is a unique an experience, but I guarantee you, I'm never doing this with another artist. I'm not going to go through their entire life story. I just don't give a fuck about an artist's life story. It has no impact. I believe in death of the artist. Once you make a song or a video, it's gone. It's no longer yours. It's in the universe now. Anyone can interpret it any way they want to. They can feel it any way they want to. I don't even like that I know so much about Ren because now I feel like when I hear one of his songs, instead of interpreting it through my own lens and how it affects my life, now I look at it like, oh, I know why Ren did that. I know what that means. So, like, to some small degree, it lowers the impact of Ren's music on my personal life by knowing so much about Ren's life. But I don't know anything about Chinchilla and anything about Sam, and I've only done a handful of Chinchilla videos. I haven't done any of Sam's, which is crazy. I need to start doing that. But from what I've seen from Chinchilla and the little I've seen from Sam, I still think Sam takes it. And the way that I was saying this is like all of these artists can fly, like, Sam and Chinchilla, they feel like more like they're specialized singers. I think my problem with Chinchilla singing compared to Sam's, and it's a minor thing, is that she has this amazing vocal capability and it's very operatic. But I think she adds way too many weird abstract ad-libs in. And I don't necessarily like the way it sounds. I don't know, like she does like weird sound effects when she gets towards the end of a song or something, or she'll like make such a drastic jump from like a really high register and then she'll like make like a weird sound effect in a lower one, and it seems jarring to my ears to some small degree. Whenever Sam does something similar, it feels like a natural progression by moving between those 2 points. And maybe that's an easier way to do it because you're naturally moving your vocal cords and your diaphragm and whatever you're using to adjust gradually. Versus maybe what Chinchilla's doing is harder because she's doing it abruptly. The sound is somewhat off-putting, but maybe it's even harder to do. I can't answer that question. I'm a layman when it comes to many things. But Sam, the technical performances that I've heard from Sam are not only really good technically, like they're not only flawless technically, much like Chinchilla's, but they are also more appealing to my ear. Because like you can listen to something that's technically a masterpiece, but not enjoy the way it sounds. Like the sonic vibes are off. And I feel like sometimes that's where Chinchilla falls for me, in contrast to Sam. But when you're talking about the greatest singers probably in the world, we're talking about differences that are so minute that a majority of people will never even understand the differences. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm all in my head. Maybe I prefer men over women when it comes to singing. Who knows? There could be so many biases here that are like clouding my judgment in this particular area. Like maybe it's like Sam's voice just resonates better like with my eardrums, or maybe the part of my DNA is more intrinsic into liking that particular. I can't answer these questions honestly. I can just tell you what I think and feel and hope that I'm like putting out enough information that it's somewhat you can understand. But I know people are gonna hear that and say, "Oh, you don't like Chinchilla." It's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, if you were to like shave off like a 1% or like 0.5% or whatever, I would tip in that direction. I would still say that if you had a top 10 list, Sam and Chinchilla for vocal capabilities, not necessarily listenability, are going to be at the top of that list. But it just all depends on how you measure things in real time. But, or maybe I'm just being analytical so I can, feed in my own personal biases based off of a myriad of different things and experiences through my life and DNA, whatever, dude. Who knows how much of it is my opinion and how much of it is the opinion of programming or propaganda? You know what I mean? Like, you never really know, but like, I like to think I have some understanding of what I'm saying to my own internal clock, but I could totally be wrong.
Sam was hitting notes and runs that seemed outside of the reach of a mere mortal. Luckily, Sam Perry Falvey, who films the videos, was with us, and he captured the whole thing on camera.
Another Sam, I like that boy.
Before this moment, I kind of surrendered to the fact I probably wouldn't have a career in music again. I was doing it for me. I was doing it to celebrate being alive. The week...
Sorry, I don't mean to pause again after talking for so long. So I hit a moment in my YouTube career where that happened. First time my channel ever blew up, I came out and said, I actually have a letter to myself where I say exactly this from about 3 years ago, where I said, I'm done chasing algorithms. I'm done playing these bullshit games. I'm done, making content for other people. From now on, I'm going to make the content I want to make. The content I enjoy, the content I wish I saw that isn't on the internet now. And it was in that moment where I started doing reactions to like League of Legends lore stuff, and my first major blow up happened. I have a video now that is, I think, still 3 times my higher end video in viewership. I got up to 1,000 subscribers overnight. They asked me to do the Pentakill album because I'd never heard it. So I started doing reactions to League of Legends content, and it was awesome, and it was fun. And it was the first time I started doing content for me that I wanted. I didn't give a fuck about if other people didn't like what I had to say. I didn't give a fuck if other people didn't like my gameplay. I started doing the content that I enjoyed. And that's why even today, I still do. A lot of people say, well, if you change this or this, your content would be more popular or better. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. I'm not here to make content to be famous or popular. Though I like having money, I don't give a fuck about money either. I'd empty out my bank account tomorrow. I have $1,000 in it that I have been saving for a long time to get up here. After I even had to take a loan from my dad to do it. You know what I mean? Like that's that money that I took. When I drove up here, I didn't fucking get a bunch of food. I don't want to spend money. I don't want to fucking do anything. Like I don't like spending money. I don't want to make content for other people. This isn't for a payday. I know it sounds cliche, and it should. It's a red flag. If you hear someone saying they don't give a fuck about money, they probably give a fuck about money. But I just don't care. I kept making content to an audience that no one watched. And then when I came back after a big hiatus, going to Cox Automotive, where I got fired for refusing to force my guys to get a vaccine mandate, because of the vaccine mandate. I mean, I told them to get vaccinated, but I'm not gonna tell them to like do it because their job tells them to. Fuck you. I still made videos that didn't do very well, and I still do. I still upload. I'm uploading videos to Compassion Fatigue, a guy with 7,000 subscribers who takes debates and turns them into musicals. They're getting 9 views. I don't give a shit. I really like the guy's content. I'm gonna make videos about it. I'm still gonna do things that other people request of me and stuff. Like I enjoy what I do. I enjoy my audience, but I do what I do because I want to put it out there, full send. And I will always do that. I will always voice my opinion. I will always tell the truth to me. I'm never gonna tell people. Like one lady told me to stop trying to convince her while I was doing an anti-vax a pro-vaccine thing where I was watching that doctor or nurse. who shouldn't be making the videos that he is with his anti-vax bullshit. And she said, well, you can't convince me. And I'm like, I'm not trying to. I don't give a fuck if you believe me. I'm just telling you my opinion about these things. I am not trying to convince anyone on how to live their life. I'm just putting my information out there. You can like it, you can hate it, you can love it, whatever. I'm going to say what I want to say, no matter who's listening, no matter who's watching. And when I find a video or a song I don't like, I'm going to speak that truth. And if that hurts your offends you, I apologize. But I say what I want to say. And hopefully you guys can stick around for that. If not, if everyone were to leave tomorrow, I'd still be here doing these videos. You know? Why I don't really mind if I get paid or not for it. Because at the end of the day, I'm being a selfish little asshole and doing what I want to do. Well, people should get paid for doing what they want to do.
After the video shoot, me and Sam decided to go busking again because it had felt so good. Someone filmed us covering a version of Vera Hall's Trouble So Hard.
Trouble so hard.
And posted it to a Mexican restaurant page on Facebook. It was the first thing that I'd done since returning to the land of the living that went viral, and it went very viral. It started being shared everywhere by millions of people. 2 weeks after that, another cover of us performing was circulating the internet. That went viral too. By the time we released the busking version of Blind Eyed, the internet went crazy. My social media following started exploding. People like Elton John were talking about us on the radio.
Nice.
People would fly in from all over the world just to watch us perform on the street. By the end of summer 2018, we were shutting down entire high streets because of the volume of people coming to watch us perform. There was something magic about the synergy of me and Sam that stopped people in their tracks. We were being tagged in videos from all over the world of people listening to Blind Eyed. People.
That's awesome, man. I'm ashamed I missed it. 2018, I was yelling at radical leftists for PC culture. Stuck in a war that never ends. Weird though that I enjoy it. I do. I do enjoy debate, argumentation, politics. I enjoy all the shit everybody hates. I must be a broken person.
We're listening from war zones, from rocket launch sites, from deep in jungles. It was surreal, and it was incredibly affirming. It was a second chance, and I didn't think I'd get a second chance.
Fucking earned it, bub. It's somewhat comforting to know that I'll never have a viral moment. Mainly because I don't think I could take it. Thank God all I am is a guy who talks on the internet. Thank God.
The shared out with Sam was special. A lot happened after that. More love, more heartbreak, more health complications, more healing, more setbacks, more parties, more medications, sold out shows, frustrations with the music industry, betrayals, theft, friends lost to addiction. My health would take me on more journeys into foreign countries, #1 albums, awards, a pandemic, meeting idols, making money, losing money. But I'll save all that for another time. It's fitting that this story ends here. Trouble So Hard by Vera Hall has always resonated with me very deeply. She was the daughter of a slave, navigating a hostile 1940s America, something I'll never be able to relate to. The pain and simplicity of the line, "Don't nobody know my troubles but God," was one that seemed universal to all struggles. And it was a line I was always deeply connected to. If there is a God, I want to thank you for giving me the resilience to be able to sit down here and to tell my story today.
Yes, sir. Not only is Ren lifting himself up here, he's also lifting up a song that's worth lifting up. Good musicians, good people find ways to lift up others when they have the opportunity. Sometimes they lift up those others long before they try to lift themselves up. You guys know I'm telling the truth. That's what we also call a good mom. Good moms fight every day, every fucking day for their kids. No matter their age, no matter where they're at in life. Good mom always there, always caring, always fighting. In the background, sometimes unheard, especially long before I was born. They were supportive but not seen. Good thing those days are gone. Good moms, wives, they put up with so much crazy shit. We as men can learn a bit of grace from that. You know how many men I know that want to be the center of attention? The loudest man in the room. Most of that stems from a feeling of inadequacy. The majority of men spend their life working for an asshole that doesn't give a shit. They feel emasculated by society and that no one gives a fuck. That their suffering is meant not to be in the public. It's something that they suffer through internally. Many of them turn to drugs and alcohol. Even good men come home after a hard day of work and drink a couple beers while probably watching Fox News and get outraged about the bullshit in their lives. But we could learn some grace. Our house is not meant to be a prison to lock other people down. We need to start lifting other people up again. Much like you guys have done with me. Which is crazy, because I'm one fat motherfucker. The fact that you motherfuckers lifted a 400-pound plus man. Yo, man, motherfucking kudos, dude.
I want to thank you for giving me the resilience to be able to sit down here and to tell my story today. I hope it's far from over, and I hope that this is just chapter 1. Thank you, everybody.
Yo, Ren, I gotta be critical, brother, but do you know how to count? We're on chapter 8, homie. I'm fucking around, I'm sorry. No, but this is the first book, Ren. Your life is gonna have a whole fucking, you're gonna have an entire encyclopedia. All right, you're gonna have books about references of your books. My man, I'm gonna help you take over the world any way I can. Even if that just means sitting here doing little videos and giving you the shout outs that you deserve. And even though I have a very small audience compared to many other reactors, I have a group of people that watch a lot of my content. And most of them already know you, but I've already turned a few people to you. And I will continue to attempt to do so every single day.
For giving me the space to share my story with you. For everybody still in the dark, trust, hope, and dare to dream that you can get out of it too. I love you all, and thank you for.
Hey man, Ren, I got a message for you, buddy. You'll never see it. That's okay. You've done so much for so many people. We thank you. We really do, man. You changed lives, buddy. You really do.
Supporting me like you have.
Pew, pew, pew. Gotta make the joke.
Cool.
Thank you guys for watching. I know that this was for the build up to the release of Troubles. So I'm gonna end this video because this one's already too long, and then I'm gonna go through. I dropped my fidget spinner. I'm gonna upload this video, and then I'm gonna go watch both the original and the acoustic version, and then I'm gonna try and sneak in uploading the Down on the Beat video that we reacted to 2 days ago because I finally got that one clear to download. And then we'll go from there, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video very, very soon. And like I said, Ren, young man, we're the same age. But you're so much wiser than me, far beyond my years. Thank you. And thank you for preaching to people that hope is something that we should hold on to. It can be a poor man's folly, but that folly can give people the strength and motivation not only to get to their dreams, but to get out of bed every day to keep pursuing life. Thank you, my friend. Best of luck. And I will follow your career until you tell me I'm not allowed to. Which you never will do because, you know, who doesn't want to have more viewers? Well, other than me. I like my small little number. I like my little hidey hole on the internet. Have yourself a wonderful day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Just so you guys know, when you say thank you to Ren, in some small way that it has to trickle back down to renegades. You guys are beautiful, man. And as I said earlier, I love you guys, even parasocially. Let's get into it. I got 2 songs to watch in 1 video, and I'm looking forward to it. Peace the fuck out. Be safe. If you have to, keep your head low. Things are getting wild. Also, water. Drink it, motherfuckers. Actually, most of you guys are already healthy. It's my responsibility to pick that up.